Hello, my name is David Lange. I am here to talk a little about Syria and my opinion on the matter. I'm from Lincoln, born and raised, and currently live in Fairbury. Here are my prepared remarks. There was a time not too long ago when our nation was attacked by Salafist terrorists. They despise our freedoms and want nothing short of the complete destruction of us, our way of life, and anyone that refuses to go along with their ideology of intolerance and hate. They are the ones who hijack planes carrying innocent civilians, crashing them into the World Trade Center towers, the Pentagon, and another they attempted to crash into the White House. Thousands died. Salafist terrorism is the ideology behind the Taliban, whom we fought against in Afghanistan. They discriminated and subjugated the minorities there. They oppressed women, destroyed institutions of education, and targeted even non-government organizations just so they could further their grip and control over the impoverished who are then more influenced by their hate. During the war in Iraq, Salafist terrorists arrived from other nations, such as Saudi Arabia, with the intent of creating sectarian warfare in order to control and subjugate the Shiites and Christians of Iraq. They nearly achieved their goal, driving out over half of this centuries-old pre-Islamic Syrian population and incited numerous battles, destroying entire neighborhoods and taking many innocent lives. They took advantage of government protesters, arming them and turning them into fellow jihadists. There, they have taken poor Sunni Arab Syrians, convincing them to learn to hate and wish for the annihilation of the other groups in Syria, the Christians, Alawis, Druze, Kurds, and others. The protester-turned-rebels and the Salafist terrorists are working hand in hand against the Syrian government. When we advocate for the rebels, we advocate for the terrorists. When we send arms and military tactics to the rebels, we are doing so to the terrorists as well. Truth be told, they may say they are separate, but as long as they work together and allow each other to commit atrocities against innocent civilians, they are equally guilty of those atrocities. In Syria, these terrorists have bombed universities, destroyed infrastructure, kidnapped Western reporters and religious leaders, beheaded innocent children, killed innocent people out in the open for having a different faith, and worse. The city of Homs fell under their control. The city was the second largest concentration of Christians in Syria, with over 80,000 of them still living in the old section of the city, as they had since before the Islamic era centuries ago. Until then, they had lived in peace in Syria and were protected by the government and given rights. When the terrorists took over, they went door to all the Christian homes, telling them to flee, convert, or die. The Christian community is all but vanished in Homs, most having fled for their lives and many having died. I cannot be here and say Assad is a benevolent leader. I can say, however, that his force, the Syrian government, is the only force the Alawis and Christians are able to turn to for protection, and it would be wrong for us to incapacitate that protection and open them up for further acts of oppression and outright genocide. I cannot confirm who was responsible for the use of chemicals to kill civilians. I was not there. I also know no one from our country's leadership was there. We have no sources other than the rebel terrorists themselves and the UN envoy sent, which did not determine guilt. I can say, and without any hesitation, that neither side is innocent and that our involvement can and will carry severe repercussions that will stain our nation and compromise the security and stability of not only Syria and the Middle East, but also of our nation and our world. Not choosing sides nor intervening in Syria does not make us numb to the strife they all are facing. In fact, it can be the exact opposite. We can advocate peace without sending arms and missiles. When we are concerned over a matter that we know too little about or aren't directly involved with, we can still have something our nation has needed to have with other nations for a long time: faith. Our support needs to be for peace and for ending the war, not with one side over the other just to further the war even more. If our leaders ask for anything but, then whatever they are asking for is wrong and goes against our nation's values. Given their past and ongoing actions against us, as well as their intolerable actions to innocent Syrian minorities, I not only ask that our government cease its support of the so-called rebel terrorists and refrain from military action supporting them at their request, but I also would consider any such actions as outright treason against our nation and the worst form of disrespect against our troops who have fought and died fighting against those terrorists this past decade. Please, Mr. President, members of the House and Senate, please refrain from intervention in the Syrian war. Neither side is worthy of our support, and our efforts should instead be focused on our own nation. Thank you.